Hello, ho, ho! Welcome to Getter Trash, episode 315. Dear Creature. My name is Eric.
I am Jason.
How's it going?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah. So, right off the bat, I need to say something.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
So, you told me a while back that you didn't want to talk about your personal life that much anymore on the show.
Right. Yeah.
And I've done my best that I can to respect that. But you have had some major changes lately that I feel is impossible to not bring up at this point.
Uh-huh.
Because we are doing this mobile again.
Yeah.
Not at the GTHQ.
Right.
But
I live in an alley behind a Dunkin' Donuts.
yeah. We're not at your mom's.
No.
So you bought a house a little while ago.
I bought a house, yeah.
And that's where we are right now.
That's true.
And so, while previously we would maybe occasionally have to worry about your mom just walking in and talking for 20 minutes about something your aunt said.
Right, yeah.
Now we have to deal with the fact that you have 16 different animals living here
lots
now.
of animals, yeah. I'm building an ark in case, the end times do usher in soon.
Yeah. So in addition to Edna, who is here somewhere.
You can probably hear her.
A little bit, yeah. She's not as bad as she's been in the past. Well, there she is right there. But she's at least not crunching on a bone right next to the speaker here.
That's a plus.
Yeah. But you've also got Grue, who is actually outside pretty much.
Yeah.
And then 3 other cats.
3 other cats.
And a bird.
And a bird, yeah.
Yeah. So, what the hell's happening?
There's. I've always been an animal person.
Sure.
That's why I have Goo and Edna.
Right?
Yep.
So we now have the possibility for numerous distractions.
Oh, yeah, it could be anything.
And I'm going to admit, one of these animals is a very tiny kitten.
Mm-hmm.
And if I just stop talking, it's because I'm staring at a cute tiny little kitten.
Right. Maybe rubbing her belly or whatever.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, gosh, I hope.
She's adorable.
She is.
Yeah.
Right now, I think the little kitten is maybe trying to take a shit, and your dog is watching over it. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, they're behind the curtain, so who knows?
So also, if this sounds different, it's because we are in a completely different place.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's comfy, though.
Yeah, it is. It's cozy.
Yeah.
I like the mood lighting.
Yeah, thank you. I did that for you.
Thank you. So, So, Dear Creature by Jonathan Case.
Yeah. So how'd you find out about this book?
I found it by accident.
Oh, this is the best kind, right?
Yeah. So, before we get into that, so it's super weird that today, of all days, we are recording the review for Dear Creature.
Oh, really?
Yes. Because today, Guillermo del Toro released the trailer for his upcoming new movie called The Shape of Water, which is about a woman who falls in love with some sort of mutant sea creature.
Huh.
Which is what Dear Creature is about.
Yeah. Weird. Okay. But it's not based on this?
Nope.
Okay. I'm sure Jonathan Case has that same question.
Well, oddly enough, I actually tweeted at Jonathan Case because I don't usually watch trailers. Because I like to go into a movie as cold as possible.
Sure.
But the reason I actually watched it, I'm a huge Guillermo del Toro fan, but also James Jean did the poster.
Oh, wow, okay.
And, I knew, over the last couple days, he'd been showing, progress shots of what he was working on, and it was, a sea creature, holding a woman in its arms, and I just thought maybe it was, some sort of weird,
Like a
Creature from the
print
Black
or something.
Lagoon. Yeah, print, And he does weird stuff all the time, and it's gorgeous all the time.
Super gorgeous.
But today, like, he showed the final and said it's for Guillermo del Toro's new movie. And I was like, oh, wow. Like, I knew he had a movie coming out, but didn't know a thing about it. And so I looked it up, and they had released the trailer, so okay, I'll watch it. And man, the first thing I thought of was, it's Dear Creature, kinda.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, they do appear to be pretty different other than the base plot.
Right. Yeah.
But like, I watched the trailer and I posted on Twitter, like, it's like, I just watched the trailer for Shape of Water, and like, looks like something I kind of want to watch, but it was Guillermo del Toro and was going to watch it anyway.
Right.
It's like, I wonder what Jonathan Case thinks about it. And I tagged him in it. And apparently he had not heard of it until I mentioned it.
Oh, wow. Nice. What did he say?
He said that, it's Guillermo del Toro, so it's not like, it's anything bad, like, can't do anything wrong. So, like he said, he was excited for it, and it looks cool. And, then later on he posted, he actually linked the trailer in a tweet and said that, like, his first choice to direct a Dear Creature movie would have been Guillermo del Toro.
Oh, wow.
But, that's
Probably not going to happen now.
Probably not going to happen, and this is maybe the closest thing that ever will happen to it, and, I think he's super excited about it.
Well, that's cool. Yeah. At least he's not like, at least he didn't like ruin his day and he's all
right,
pissed.
Yeah. At least I hope not. At least unless he was just being outwardly gracious.
Right. Well, that is how people behave on the internet. They extra positive, like
just keeping it cool and subtle. Yep,
yeah. And then in real life, they can let their real thoughts and feelings out.
Exactly. Yeah. Especially on Twitter.
Oh yeah.
Especially.
Yeah, those are nice light people.
Yep. So, so it was just weird that, oh man, like, we just read this book and we're going to actually review it tonight, and that happened. But I'm glad that I got at least a little bit of Jonathan Case's opinion on it.
Yeah.
Like the good reporter that I am.
Right? At least we know how to pronounce this guy's name.
It's true.
Probably. I mean, who knows?
Case.
Yes. Jonathan Case.
But yeah, so that movie, is about a woman that meets a sea creature and they sort of bond. And that's kind of what happens in this book as well. Yeah. Although
there's so much more.
There is a lot more, and the majority of this book is told from the creature's perspective, whereas the movie appears to be from the woman's perspective. And our creature is kind of, I don't want to say jovial, but
he's whimsical. He
is whimsical, yes.
He reminds me of Madman so very much.
That is a great comparison. Wow, yeah, I never even would have thought of that, but you're absolutely right.
Well, when I was reading this, I was like, this book has a tone to it. I was like, is it kind of tickish? Does it remind me of the Tick? And I was like, no, it's not as like,
goofy.
Yeah. But I was like, it totally reminds me of Mad Men.
I can totally see that now. Yeah. Absolutely. You're right.
But it's about a sea creature, and it just opens up with him underwater and doing his thing.
Yeah, which is usually eating people. And reading Shakespeare.
He loves some Shakespeare.
Yeah, he talks in iambic pentameter.
Right.
Yeah. And his name is Grue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not like the Wanderer.
No.
Like with a U-E or
U-E, as in gruesome.
Mm-hmm. But, he occasionally makes his way up to the surface whenever he gets a whiff of teenage pheromones.
Yep.
It's really, to him, it's like when we smell like sizzling bacon, or in my case,
sizzling tofu.
Sizzling tofu. Or cold peanuts. When I smell cold peanuts, just cold, dry peanuts lying on a porcelain counter, it perks up my nostrils. But and whenever he smells like young hormones, which is funny because it makes you think of like in slasher movies and monster movies,
Oh,
it
yeah.
is always like whenever the couple's out there, like, making out or skinny dipping or whatever.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, when he smells hormones and pheromones, he surfaces and murders.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, it kind of gives an explanation for that, I guess, a little bit.
Yeah.
Or at least plays with that trope, which is awesome.
It is.
And then it definitely leads to kicking off some of the major events that happen in this story.
Right.
But yeah, so it's Grue, and he's got a group of are they crab?
Crabs,
Yeah.
He's got crabs, which is never good
No.
when you're looking for ladies.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're like, basically crabs the size of his hand that live on his body, like 3 of them.
And I guess they sort of get his leftovers.
Yeah.
From the various people he eats.
I couldn't tell if it's something where like he needs them for some reason. Like, do they like help sniff out stuff? Or?
Maybe, I don't know. It's never fully clear.
There was like some point where some bit of dialogue where he makes one of them makes a joke about not needing the other one or something.
Right.
But I almost read it like they were being sarcastic because they both need each other. But I don't know. Like I said, it doesn't really matter.
It does not. Yeah. I mean, I would say it's a symbiotic relationship, but he seems to get less out of the deal than they do.
Maybe it's just companionship.
It could be.
He doesn't really have any friends.
It's true.
There's no other sea creatures his size. He just,
he
just reads Shakespeare and hangs out with these crabs and eats teenagers.
Yep. Because there's only just regular sea creatures that you find normally in nature. So basically somebody has been throwing bottles of pop with pages of Shakespeare plays in them, and he's been collecting them and reading them, and
he's in love with them.
Yeah. And so eventually, I think out of his loneliness and his solitude, he decides that he's going to seek out the person who was throwing these into the ocean,
right?
Because clearly they must be a romantic who is beckoning him to come to them,
right?
Yeah,
and he's half right.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah. So then he, through a series of very comical events,
that's true,
makes his way to the surface, and
I love that scene where he like basically finds this like 19 or 1800s probably like
deep
diving
sea
suit, and he wears that to like walk up on the boardwalk, and like it's hilarious.
Yeah, and steals a bike.
Yeah.
So you mentioned the age of the diving suit. I think that's one thing I really enjoy about this book is that there's no real clear time frame.
Right. Yeah.
Like a lot of it seems to be set maybe in like the 1920s or 30s, but there's other stuff that leans more towards like the 50s or 60s.
Yeah, some of the haircuts look kind of early 60s, but I mean you don't really see any cars because everybody's like kind of either walking or
there's a taxi cab that plays a part.
Yeah, I can't remember what it looked like.
Yeah, it looked fairly old.
Yeah.
But then some taxi cabs do have like a classic look too. So. So he eventually is able to track down the person who is sending these messages into the ocean, and it's a woman named Giulietta who is held captive on a giant ship that is docked in the bay.
Yeah, and she is sending out messages, but not for him.
Yeah.
But they end up kind of striking it off.
They do, yeah.
Hitting it off. Striking it off.
Hitting. Yeah. She does not seem to be very off-put by the fact that he is a mutant monster.
Right. She doesn't get out a lot.
That is also true.
Her options are slim.
Yeah. But it turns out that she is actually not being held captive. She is there of her own free will.
Yeah.
She just doesn't ever want to leave or go outside.
I can relate.
I can absolutely relate.
Right? Of course, we would probably be sending like Jack Kirby pages and beer bottles instead of Shakespeare and soda bottles.
I'm not getting rid of any of my Jack Kirby pages.
But there's so many of them.
Well, that is true. I'd probably send out Rob Liefeld pages.
Oh, I do have a lot of those too, yeah. And you can find those in quarter boxes.
Exactly, yeah.
When we do go out. But, so, without giving too much more about the plot away,
yeah.
This book is so unique.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's amazing.
It's pretty great. No, yeah, it's a lot of fun. But like it's also like, you know, got a really solid story.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, just the characters are all so well developed.
Oh yeah.
Like all of them.
Yeah.
Like there's not a single character that is just a parody of something.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. It's not just like, you know, generic archetype style characters. It's like you don't really know every angle until you read the whole thing, because there's so much going on with everybody.
Yeah. And, you know, some twists and turns that happen as well. And then, you know, there's a lot of humor in it as well. Like as we were talking about, the boardwalk scene is great. But I mean, yeah, it's just such a solid story. And I guess this was his first graphic novel.
Yeah, that pisses me off. Because I'd say it's better than 75% of the graphic novels I've ever read.
Right. Yeah.
Like, it is fucking good.
Yeah, it is.
And it's so unique. Like I did say the Mad Men comparison,
sure.
but I mean, that's just like one element of it. Like, he reminds me of Mad Men,
mm-hmm.
but the actual story, and just the way it's told is so good and original and unique, and not in a like outdoing yourself, outsmarting yourself artsiness kind of way.
No. But
like unique in a just like, this is his voice and it is so fucking good.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's just, I mean, there are elements in play from, you know, you can tell his influences. Mm-hmm. You know, clearly he has a love for Creature from the Black Lagoon, or monster movies in general. But, like, it's also, like, a romantic comedy, and it's also a little bit of a horror story, but, like, it's not that much.
No, it's not gruesome. I mean, there's...
Definitely not.
You know, there's definitely some murders and some, you know...
But you never really see anything.
Yeah, it's done subtly, like, kind of like those old Universal movies, you know?
Yeah. But, like, you know, at the same time, it's also, like, a drama about this severely broken woman.
Yeah.
Who, you know... again, you know, not a thing I could relate to ever.
Right. Drama.
Or just being severely broken. Or drama with women.
Yeah.
And there is some drama with women.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But, you know, there's, you know, there's just so much at play in this book that it's just, the fact that it is his first graphic novel and it all gelled so well together.
Oh my god, yeah. Yeah, like you'd think at best your first graphic novel, you'd be like, well, you know, there's some really great elements, but, you know, like
his next one is going to be even better.
Yeah, the next one's going to be good because, you know, he could improve on this area. Right. No, it's like, it's fucking amazing.
Yeah. And, you know, his next one probably will be better.
That's infuriating.
But... well, at least he got distracted by drawing Batman 66 for a while.
Did he?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think, I don't know how regular he was on that book, but he did quite a bit of them. Man. But like I should have looked him up to see like what else he's been working on.
He didn't do the early Batman 66.
Yeah, like he did the first one.
Okay,
for sure. Yeah.
I have read some of those. Then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like the first arc, at least, the one with the Riddler.
Well, and people who have read that might know his art is so solid.
Yeah.
And it's like such the great balance of cartoony and just like a a great grasp on how to draw stuff.
Yeah.
Like he clearly knows how to draw
Everything.
backgrounds and like design. Like there's some great panels where there's only like a person in a car and maybe just like a hint of a background, and it just looks fucking great.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't look like he skipped any steps. He just
knew when
what
to
to leave out.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And his facial features,
Oh man.
it's amazing how the facial features that he captures.
Yeah.
Like,
And every character looks different.
and you
Which
know what they're
is-
all feeling and thinking, and
Yep.
you like they don't have to say anything at all, and you know exactly where they're coming from. Charlie Adler, take a look at this book.
Unfair.
It is, yeah, it is like top notch.
Yeah. And like you said, like it's that right balance of cartoony and realism. Because I mean, like someone who has a really cartoony style, like can do like a diverse array of like, making people look different,
Right.
and also capturing their facial expressions because it's usually so exaggerated.
Yeah, sure.
But here, like, I mean, it's not exaggerated. These are just real people.
Yeah.
But like it's just cartoony enough where you're not off put by how realistic it is.
Right. Oh yeah.
Like,
Yeah, if this was drawn a little more realistic, it would have been not as interesting visually. But oh my god, it's just
and it would have
it's
also,
amazing.
because we haven't really even talked about the look of Grue.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
because he looks a lot like the creature from the Black Lagoon.
very close. His face is very different now.
His face is so simplified.
Yeah,
It's like a smiley face.
it is. It truly is. I mean, it's just like a big goofy grin and just black dots.
Big black eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And his brain is exposed.
His brain's hanging out. Yeah.
But like, it also fits him so perfectly because he is able to just capture so many different expressions because it is so simple.
Yeah.
But it never looks out of place, and like you totally, I mean, he's a creature anyway. So when he's interacting with Giulietta or other humans, like, it's,
Of course, he looks bizarre.
yeah, but he's supposed to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But not in a not in a way that makes it look like it was ill-conceived.
Right.
I was checking on my dog is
Yeah.
But yeah, I never would have heard of this. Was this in previews?
Well, this came out originally in 2011.
Okay.
At least that's the copyright date on the book there. Like I said earlier, and I think I even mentioned it last week or 2 weeks ago. Whenever we record these things anymore, I don't
Who
know.
knows?
I'd walked into a Barnes and Nobles and usually perused the graphic novel section, and I saw that on the shelf, and I thought, well, that looks neat, and then I flipped through it, and I was like, this looks really cool, and I definitely like to buy this. I don't have the money right now, so like I took a picture of the cover and just sort of kept it on my phone, and was just like, I'm gonna either order this on Amazon or find it somewhere else, because I think the next time I went to Barnes and Nobles, it wasn't there anymore.
Right.
But yeah, it was just something that I kept on a picture of it on my phone for a while and just kept looking for it. Or at least just to remind myself to look for it occasionally. But it was like totally an accidental thing. And like it caught me, and I was like, well, also, my thought was, well, Jason loves the creature from the Black Lagoon. This would be like a cool thing to pick for the show at some point.
Yeah.
And so I think it was a year ago, 2 years ago, myself, Joe G, and Giulietta, our friend, Bob, weirdly enough.
Giulietta,
We're at the Laughing Ogre in Columbus. And I think it was when we went to space, and we were just killing time afterwards. And we were just browsing around Laughing Ogre, and like that was just out like in their like indie, right, section. And I was like, I usually, whenever I go to especially a new comic shop that I've never been to, I like to try to buy something. Right. I was like, what the hell? Like I've been wanting to read this for a while. I'll buy it here. And so that's where I got it from.
Nice.
And then I think like a month later they put out like a special edition.
I don't think I've ever seen it anywhere.
Yeah. Who published it?
Tor, Tor.
Okay, so like an actual book publisher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I could recommend this highly enough.
Right? Yeah.
It's like a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, seriously, it is so good. And like I said earlier, like there's obviously influences that you can read, through it, but it is also still clearly his own thing.
Oh yeah.
Like, yeah, you were just flipping through it, and I saw something that like totally reminded me of like a Mike Mignola thing. So there's even a little bit of Hellboy-esque kind of stuff in there.
I mean, yeah, it's all black and white, and there's a lot of like really cool, moody, shadowy,
right,
cartoony imagery. But I mean, yeah, it looks so good.
Yeah. Yeah, like there are so many different things and elements to it, and like it still manages to just perfectly balance everything and have the right tone,
right,
to be able to pull that off. Like, yeah, this book is just great.
Yeah, he's a genius.
Yeah.
He needs to stop drawing for DC and do more graphic novels.
Seriously, well, hopefully some of that Batman money allowed him to work on something of his own.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I would never turn down a gig drawing a Batman comic, but it would be,
and on top of that, the best Batman comic,
right? Yeah,
I mean, I would murder you to draw Batman 66.
I would murder me to draw it,
right?
That wouldn't work out, but
probably not in the long run, anyway. Yeah, Dear Creature.
Yeah, it's fucking great.
Yeah, seriously, buy it anywhere you can.
Yeah. There's not a single thing I could say should be better about this.
Nope.
Like I can't imagine a different person drawing it better, writing it better.
Nope.
A different element to it. I mean, it's just fucking perfect.
Nope. I would like to see Guillermo del Toro direct a movie adaptation.
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
Read the book before the movie comes out.
Yeah, exactly. Right?
I mean, that could be one of those things where, like, maybe if enough people, like, point out, like, at least the very base similarities, like, more people will check this book out, too. Because it really needs to be, have wider recognition.
Oh, yeah.
Because it is fantastic.
Yeah. If anybody hasn't read it, I would say highly recommended it.
Yep. All right.
Cool. Yeah, well, thank you for picking it.
I don't know.
I probably never would have read this.
Yeah.
And it's great.
Better or worse than NFL Super Pro?
Oh. I mean, it's a 10 out of 10, not a 12 out of 10. Somebody brought in some books to sell to Mavericks yesterday, and one of them was a copy of NFL Super Pro #1, the one with Spider-Man on the shirt. And I was like, for a second, I almost thought, maybe I'll buy that and put it on the #1 wall. But I was like, nah.
But you still have your copy. Right?
Oh, yeah.
You're not getting rid of those.
No. All right. Not unless someone would have to offer me like multiple dollars, like 2 for the whole series.
All right. Well, let's take a break.
Cool.
We'll be back.
Yes.
Johnny was an actor, oh, you must have known. He wore his new Max Factor and nearly stole the show. You go and tell him he's not the only one. Night creatures, strangest features, white faces and painted eyes, tongue teasers, oh you young deceivers. Night creatures on your heels so high, Angel was a dancer with a mean guitar. He played the big romancer, just like a movie star, too far, burning the film behind his eyes. Just another night creature, strangest features, white faces, painted eyes, tongue teasers. Oh, you young deceivers, night creatures, on your heels so high. Girlie Jane was lonely, she gave me such a fright. Well, all her jewels were phony, but they looked as nice as ice, freezing the light behind the stairs. Just another night creature, strangest features, white faces, painted eyes, tongue teasers. Oh, you young deceivers, night creatures, on your heels so high. Night creatures, on your heels so high, on your heels so high.
Hey, welcome back to the podcast.
Hello.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So what's up?
Feel relaxed. We should have had beers before the first segment.
Yeah, probably.
We should always have beers before.
Uh-huh.
So we're enjoying some beers that my I guess you would say my soon-to-be in-laws left here.
Yeah.
Down in our basement fridge. We have a basement fridge.
Yeah, you do.
It's so cool. Basically, the reason I moved in here. There's a basement fridge. So
Right.
basically,
Yeah. That's why I would move.
I remember when I was a kid, we had a basement fridge at my mom's house.
Yeah.
But we just didn't really, like, I think she used it more as like a freezer to store like extra frozen vegetables and whatnot.
Right. But yeah, I think my parents, we had a garage fridge.
Yeah.
And we had a full-size freezer as well.
Like one of those, like
Not like the kind that you're thinking of.
like at a convenience store freezer.
Right, yeah, no, like it looked like a fridge, but the entire time was a
Okay,
freezer.
yeah. Maybe that's what we had. I think that's what it was, yeah. Because I think the whole thing was a freezer in our basement.
Hmm.
But yeah. No, this one's like beers in the fridge. Kind
Right,
of in the
yeah.
basement. It's pretty nice.
Which there were, and now we're drinking them.
They were free.
Yeah,
How
exactly.
cool is that? Yeah.
So I think that's something that you hadn't actually mentioned before.
What's that?
Is that you're engaged?
Oh, yeah, I'm engaged.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I don't think I mentioned that before.
No. Yeah.
So yeah, it's different.
Yeah, that's a different thing
Yeah.
too. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, yeah.
Yeah, Eric asked me to marry him finally on our 350th episode.
You finally said yes.
I finally made it. I made you an honest man.
Yeah. So
So as soon as we're married, that will be the end of the podcast. You know that, right?
No, I know. Yeah, you shouldn't mix work and relationships anyway.
Right? Which one's the work?
Getting
married?
Yeah. But let's see what's been going on.
I've been actually reading. I recently discovered that I actually love EC comics.
Okay.
Like, I never would have expected to. I remember seeing Tales
Well, why
from the
not?
Crypt. Well,
Because they seem like it'd be right up your alley.
I know, right? I think I thought they were a little more just serious and boring.
Okay.
But like they are weird.
Right.
And yeah, they're totally right up my alley. And they're like better than I would have expected from having watched Tales from the Crypt, the TV show.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I mean, okay. Here's another reason. Like every comic I've read, other than those by Fletcher Hanks, that are more than 45, 50 years old, are just kind of hard to read. I think.
Sure.
Like even if it's characters I love, like Batman, it's kind of hard to read.
Yeah, I get you.
And it's not the case with. I mean, I've only read like 4 or 5 of them, and it's just like in the last week or two I've started reading some old EC books. They're so good.
Yeah.
Like legitimately really good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I've ever actually read any, but like to me, like they did always seem like something that I probably should.
Yeah.
You know, but like I totally get you. Like, you know, like I've tried to read some old like Silver Age or even Golden Age stuff, and it can be a chore.
Oh yeah.
At times.
And EC comics, they're wordy, but they almost look wordier than they really are. Like once you start reading them, it flows really quick. But they look like you open an EC book and you just see like 6 panels where half of the panel is text.
Right.
I mean, it's huge blocks of capital letters.
Right.
They call it Leroy lettering, I found out. But it
is bad Leroy Brown.
Yeah, he was the letterer. Yeah, but he wasn't very good. He was actually kind of bad.
Right.
He was really bad.
Yeah.
He's doubly bad at his job. But no, they're really good. Like I think if you see them in the cheap box, like I've been reading the 90s reprints because they did, you know, obviously the originals in the 50s, and I think they did either 70s or 80s reprints. Mm-hmm. And even those are worth a little bit of money, but the 90s ones you can usually find for $1 or $2.
Yeah.
And they're really good.
Yeah. I know a lot of those are being reprinted currently, like in archive editions and stuff like that. So, yeah. They're out there and they're available.
I know I've seen them at half-price books, like especially I feel like you see the sci-fi ones more often, like Weird Science. And those are good too. And like some of them have like Wally Wood art.
Yeah.
But I think that's the thing about EC. Their bullpen of artists was like, it was like, you know, Jean Severin and Jack Davis and Al Feldstein? Somebody Feldstein.
Yeah, I think it's Al.
Joe Orlando.
Or is that the guy who owned High Society?
I don't know. Joe Orlando and Johnny Craig. All those guys are so unique to each other. Like, like you're not going to confuse any of them. And they're all so good. And I can't believe that their bullpen was those guys. I mean, like they honestly were a higher caliber of artists than
Caliber.
Yeah, than Caliber, or even like than old Marvel. I mean, like Marvel had, you know, Jack Kirby, but then they also like I would say all of these guys are better artists than like Steve Ditko. You know what I mean? Like I mean, it's all taste, personal taste, but
I mean, I've often said this about Steve Ditko. Like I love all the characters he created. Like, I mean, Blue Beetle is my absolute favorite superhero. Mm-hmm. I love Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, the Creeper, the Question.
Mr. A.
Let's not go overboard. But, okay, Speedball, Squirrel Girl.
Oh, yeah, I forgot he did Squirrel.
Yeah. But, man, I am not actually a fan of his artwork at all.
I love the look of his old comics, but I couldn't imagine, like, I don't know.
Yeah. Like, you're talking about hard to read, like, you know, I've got a collection of, like, his Charleston stuff. Like Blue Beetle, Question, and stuff like that. Captain Atom. And, man, they are a slog. And like,
he's a solid... He's solid, storyteller or whatever. But his art, like I would never be like, oh man, there's this new Steve Ditko art book coming out.
Right.
I'm going to buy that. Right. Like that would just never be words I say out loud.
And it's like, you know, I know he created Spider-Man and probably had like the biggest influence on the character more than anyone else. But like, close your eyes and visualize Spider-Man.
It's not Steve Ditko's.
No. Like I see Romita.
Oh yeah. Like, I see Romita and Romita Jr.
Yeah.
Hell, I haven't seen J. Scott Campbell before I say Ditko.
Yeah,
it's true. Yeah, and like nothing, I don't know, nothing against him, but yeah, like just the caliber and diversity of artists that that EC had is amazing to me.
Oh yeah, yeah, and all those guys just had such great styles too. I mean, John Severin.
Oh my god, right?
Fucking amazing.
You know that Marie Severin is the only living EC bullpen person alive right now?
Really?
And she's in a nursing home.
Right.
So she's not doing too well, but she did a lot of coloring for them.
Yeah.
And, yeah, everybody else is dead. But so
yeah.
That was a long time ago.
It's true. It's very true.
Yeah.
I mean, like we're definitely going to lose a bunch, at some point.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Stanley's 93 years old. And Steve Ditko's got to be up there.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, dog's staring at me. It's weird. I've been actually reading some old comics lately too.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't think I've mentioned this on the show yet, but I'm gonna be 39 years old in a couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I have never owned a Jack Kirby comic up until about a month ago.
That does seem weird.
Uh-huh.
Is that possible?
Like,
how is that even possible?
I mean, maybe I had like a reprint of like X-Men #1 at some point.
Right, yeah.
But no, I never owned a Jack Kirby comic. Maybe I had something where he did a pinup or something was reproduced.
Right.
But not like,
wow.
Yeah. So for the last month, I've been spending excessive money on collections of Jack Kirby books. I think I've said before on here that like I really came into Kirby late,
right?
Like maybe 10 years ago was when I first like I actively did not like Jack Kirby up until about 10 years ago,
right?
And then something just clicked,
right?
And it was like, oh, that's it,
yeah.
and like I just like fell in love and admired all his stuff, but still just never like pulled the trigger and bought anything that he ever did. And of course, for whatever reason, well, I know part of the reason why, but now like I've decided that like I need to collect as much Jack Kirby as I can possibly get my hands on. Unfortunately, a lot of it is out of print and very pricey.
Yeah.
But I've had some decent luck here and there. But last week, I managed to get in various reprint forms almost the entire run of Thor that he did.
And those are beautiful.
Yeah. The Marvel Epic collections that they're putting out help. Because I got 3 Thor collections of those that have a good chunk of his run.
Right.
There's a 4th one coming out in October, and that will actually mostly complete the run. I think there's still like 5 issues or so after all that he worked on. But I was able to get those in a Marvel Masterworks, which I'm going to convince my OCD part of myself that that's perfectly fine.
Right. It's the same thing, just a different name on the cover.
Right, yeah. It's not like I have a bookshelf to put them on, so like nobody will ever notice that one is really out of place.
Right. Those would be in comic boxes.
Right, yeah. Or on the floor,
like they currently top of their fridge or whatever.
Yeah. And closet in my bathroom.
Right.
Yeah. So actually, I started reading the first Thor one, some of the early Journey into Mysteries, and I really like them.
Yeah.
Like I honestly thought, like especially the early ones,
it might be kind of hard to.
Yeah, but man, like I really enjoyed them.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, especially like the very, very first one, Journey into Mystery 83?
I can't remember.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. Like the presentation of Thor in that is way different than
Oh yeah.
like how we now think of Thor.
What's the difference?
So it's pretty much Don Blake finds Thor's hammer and picks it up and just sort of gains Thor's powers.
Okay.
But he's not Thor. He's just got Thor abilities.
Oh, okay.
And like he transforms into looking like Thor. And like when he lets go of the hammer, like he just turns back into Don Blake, but like he's still mentally just Don Blake.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever read that story.
Yeah. And it's a super weird story because like it's about aliens that invade Earth and Thor stops them, which is not
Your typical Thor.
right. Yeah. So like it's really weird, but like even in like 84, like you know his costume changes slightly to more of like what we think of like Thor looks like,
Yeah.
you know. But no, yeah, like it's a weird revelation for me. Like finally now, like just delving into like all this Jack Kirby stuff.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, I haven't read, like, obviously nowhere near all of his stuff, but
Right.
yeah, he's one of my favorites, if not my favorite.
Yeah. But yeah, I've been getting so much stuff. I've gotten like the Eternals, his Black Panther series, Machine Man. I've been picking up because I know it's never going to be reprinted, but like his 2001 stuff.
Oh
I got the Silver Star hardcover from Image.
yeah. Nice.
You know, just a bunch of stuff lately, and so I've just been enveloping myself in Kirby.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I guess praying that some of it rubs off on me a little bit at some point.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, just you know, wishing and wishing.
You know, we picked up a comic collection recently at Mavericks, and we have a ton of old romance comics. I know we got a couple of Kirby romance comics in there. If you want
Yeah,
to delve into that section of his career.
you know.
Beautifully drawn.
Oh, I'm sure it
Yeah.
is. No, like when I started doing this, like I already set out that there are just certain things that like I know I'm just not into with
Right.
Kirby, and I'm guessing the
That might be
romance
one.
stuff is probably not
What was did you do like a, was it Sky Masters that was like a,
comic strip.
yeah, comic
Yes.
strip,
Yeah.
sci-fi strip? Yeah. Like, yeah, I don't know. I've never read that either.
Yeah, I know there's a hardcover of that coming out soonish. And I thought about buying it for a minute, but I'm all right. Yeah,
Yeah, the art's great. I've seen
Yeah.
pictures from it, but I've never read it.
right. Like I think I'd rather pick up like you know the Fantastic Four Omnibuy,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And stuff like that, and like the New Gods Omnibus is coming out, you know, in December.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
That's cool. We're
Yeah.
both kind of digging on some old stuff right now.
Yeah. Let's see what else. Sad news: George Romero passed away.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely.
He was cool.
Yeah, definitely a top pick of mine.
Yeah.
You know, for the most part.
You mean as director, you mean?
Yeah. Like, I like a lot of his movies. Some of them obviously are not great. Some of them are actually pretty horrible.
Yeah.
Such as Survival of the Dead.
Is that the one with the horse?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But, you know, he just died this past Sunday. And I decided, because actually like a month ago or so, like I watched all of the, you know, the good Dead movies. Just because I wanted to watch him, you know. So when he died, I was like, I'll watch one of his non-zombie movies, and watched Martin, which I don't know if you've ever seen.
No, I'm not.
It's a vampire story.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it essentially is a vampire movie, but the lead character may or may not actually be a vampire.
Okay.
You know,
Is it 70s?
yeah, 76, I want to say 74,
Okay.
76.
I'll have to watch that.
It's very good. It's definitely one of those things where you realize that he was a lot more than just zombies.
Yeah.
Like I mean, you know, now that he's dead, everybody is, talking about, oh, Night of the Living Dead, it was so revolutionary. And it was, and Dawn of the Dead is just great.
Yeah.
But, like, he definitely had more to say than just zombies and just never really got the opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
And I think Martin was maybe one of his last shots that he ever did of something like that wasn't just, because like he did adaptations of books and like a couple of Stephen King projects here and there, other than the zombie movies, but,
Oh, really? Which Stephen King was he?
He did Creepshow.
Oh, that's right.
And The Dark Path with Timothy Hutton.
Okay.
Which is another movie that I really like, but I also loved that book when I was like in the 7th grade.
But he mostly, after Night of the Living Dead, mostly stuck with zombie stuff, right?
I mean, that was his biggest stuff, but like, I mean, yeah, he did a couple of Stephen King things. Monkey Shines, which I think was based on a book.
That was him. I remember hating that movie.
Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't know it was him. I probably didn't even know who he was when I saw that movie. I was pretty young.
But like, and, Night Riders was a movie he did that I've never
The Talking Car.
Yep,
That was a good one. That was a
good.
good. That was a good show.
Wow. And then Martin, which was, I think, other than Night Riders, was maybe one of his last original movies that wasn't zombie related. And it's just like a really solid character piece. And I think that's one thing that he always knew was that it's all about the characters.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Yeah, so I rewatched that, and it totally holds up from whenever the last time I watched it was. And like, I definitely recommend people seek it out.
I'll check out Martin. Maybe it's on Netflix. Maybe.
I don't think it is.
No.
Yeah. But I got a copy I can lend you. So,
Nice.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of anything else awesome. San Diego Comic-Con is this weekend.
Oh,
so
yeah. Big news will come.
Big
I'm
news,
sure.
probably. Yeah. I saw a preview that Plastic Man is going to make his way back to the DC universe somehow.
Nice.
Wearing a weird-looking costume. So there's
Plastic
that.
Man Rebirth.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sure that, I'm sure. What, today is Wednesday, so
Yeah.
tomorrow is when it starts, right?
I think some of it started tonight.
Okay.
But yeah, tomorrow is like the first full day of it.
what more fun than to just look up some live on my phone right here?
Sure.
Oh my god, Alex Ross is doing a Flaming Carrot miniseries. That's going to be great.
I still won't buy that because fuck Alex Ross.
You know anybody at the San Diego Comic-Con this year?
Personally?
Well, yeah.
No.
Any of your friends there?
I don't think so. I'm not sure Joe G went.
Yeah.
Did Jeremy go?
No.
I know he's out of town.
I know, conveniently, he says it was to visit family, so we'll see.
We'll see if when he comes back with a lot of Transformers exclusives.
Yeah, he'll be trading in a bunch of, Power Ranger pop figures to Mavericks. Like, where'd you get those? Asshole.
Yeah, because I know Joe G went to Heroes Con last month, so I'm guessing that because he now lives in Seattle, his wife probably is not going to let him make 2 trips like that.
Oh yeah, but he's so close now.
He is closer to San Diego now. Yeah.
No.
I'm still,
probably next year.
Yeah, because that place, that thing sells out almost instantly.
Oh yeah,
I'm sure
it's probably sold out for next year already.
Oh, I'm sure. I think tickets don't go on sale for quite a while, but I usually know when it does, it either crashes their site or just immediately sells out.
Wow.
And then, you got to worry about finding a place to stay and all that crap too. So, good luck to all the people who do that. I will never go.
Oh, I wouldn't either.
No,
yeah.
There's not enough money you could pay me to go.
If it was free with free room and board, I still wouldn't go.
Yep. Yeah, like Tom King, the writer of Batman right now, posted something on Twitter about how this is his first San Diego where he was actually paid to go.
Wow.
And I was just like, man, yeah. Like, if for whatever reason, like, suddenly, like, tomorrow I'm, like, writing the X-Men and, like, they ask me to go and pay my way, like, I still don't think I would go.
Yeah, and, like, I'm sure it's a fine thing or whatever.
Right.
Like, they do it well, but I think yours is probably the same reason I am. I just don't want to be around that many people.
No, yeah, exactly.
Like if it was, 1/40th the size, maybe I would.
Right.
I'd be like, wow, that looks fun. But yeah, first of all, I don't fly, and it's very far away from here.
Yeah.
And then I just get social anxiety when in large crowds, and that is the very definition of a large crowd.
Oh, that is like the largest,
right?
Yeah. No, yeah, like last year at Heroes Con when I went, like, I mean, I'm sure it is just a fraction of what, San Diego is.
Oh, yeah.
And even then I was just like, there were times where I was just like, oh, this is not fun.
Right.
Not easy to handle.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, fuck, Gym City at times is just a little overwhelming.
Right. Yeah, there must be 500 people here.
The Jim and Dan show can get a little overwhelming.
Yeah, we're just not meant for certain things.
No.
We're meant to sit in our cool basements, drink beer, and read comics.
Pretty much, yeah.
And I'm fine with that.
I pretty much am as too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Occasionally, I kind of want to go out, but then, sometimes
you realize the error of your ways.
Yeah. Sometimes I actually do make it out and just wish I was back at home.
Right? I know, me too, every time. Every time. I'm like, that's why I stay at home. Because there's people out here.
Right, yeah.
There's more than 3 people. Fuck this.
Yep.
So
speaking of reading comics.
I've got several in mind.
Well, you can only pick one.
Yeah. Well,
I know you've been waffling back and forth between a couple since we started the show tonight.
Yeah, I can always, like I told you between segments here, for some reason, us being, the go-to place, we're like just above like Bleeding Cool and comics resources. People rely on us for like hot current trends.
Right.
And so I always feel obligated to pick something brand new if I have something brand new that I want to read. But I don't think that's what I want to pick. Like, I have one that just came out like a week ago, and I'm like, I'll pick that. But I've got an older book that I bought very recently that I think looks more interesting.
Okay. So
I'm going to pick that.
All right.
I think it's called Smokin' Guns by, I want to say her name is...
You have the book.
I have the book.
Go look at it.
I have the book. No, I'm going to remember. Her name is like Erin Baddock or something. Let me see. Okay, talk.
Is it Tom Badiak, the funky Winkerbean guy?
No. Yeah, we're gonna read a funky Winkerbean collection.
I'm only gonna read the John Byrne stories.
Oh, I was way off. Okay. It's Kirsten Baldock.
All right.
And drawn by Fabio Moon.
Oh, I know that name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's called Smokin' Guns.
Smokin' Guns. I've never heard of this.
I hadn't either. I found it in a cheap bin.
Really?
Yeah.
May I flip through it already?
Not until you decide if you're going to veto it or not.
Well, I'm not going to veto it. Fabio Moon drew it.
Okay.
I will always look at Fabio Moon comics.
So that's what we're going to read. Smokin' Guns.
Huh. Literally have never heard of this. And Fabio Moon sure did draw that.
Yeah.
Man, when did this come out?
You're making sure it wasn't a different Fabio Moon that
Right.
draws comics.
Hey, it might happen. 2005.
Yeah.
Never. I mean, I guess that was before or he was really on my radar anyway.
That's before we were doing the show.
Well, definitely
That's
that.
a long time ago.
Yeah. But I think, the first time I ever heard of him was with Casanova, which, 2006, 2007 maybe?
Right.
And I have no idea who the fuck Kirsten Baldock is.
What did I call her? Erin
Badiak.
Erin Baddock? Yeah. Sorry, Kirsten Baldock. I'm sorry, I've just never heard of you and I'm drunk.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, I'm not vetoing. So.
Smoking Guns.
Smoke and Guns.
Yeah, Smoke and Guns. I think I made it sound like Smoking Guns.
Smoking Guns,
but I was doing like Guns N' Roses.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Sweet.
That's what we'll read then. It's by
AIT Planet Lair.
Planet Lair.
Yeah.
Planet Lar?
I think it's a Lair.
Is it
Larry?
Oh, Planet Lair. Okay.
Larry is, I can't remember his last name.
What's the AIT stand?
Astronauts in Trouble.
Okay.
The comic.
That's weird.
By that name.
It's weird that they named the publisher that too.
Yeah.
But it'd be like if DC had named themselves after one of their own comics.
Yeah, that's stupid.
That's not gonna.
Yeah, you're right. Fuck it. Fuck AIT Planet Lair.
Yeah, where'd you get that idea? My dog is destroying a duck, so I think that's the sign that we got to wrap things up.
Yep.
Luckily, it's a stuffed animal, so in
Yeah.
duck form, so it's not like
Not an actual duck.
not an actual.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm tired.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I usually am off early on Wednesdays, so my body's used to like just kind of shutting down halfway through Wednesday,
Right.
and I worked the entire day today since Jeremy's at San Diego Comic-Con,
Right.
pretending to be at his relative's house in Savannah, Georgia.
Yep. And I've been up since 4:30. So
You have a more legitimate excuse than
yeah. Alrighty. Well, before I leave, I'm probably going to hunt down another cat to pet.
Yeah, well, they're everywhere.
Yeah.
Just reach out.
Yeah. And then go home. So look forward to read Smoke and Guns next week.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Gutter Trash. You can subscribe to the show from guttertrash.net or from iTunes and leave us a review. Visit guttertrash.net for email information and for other podcasts and websites in the Gutter Trash Network. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time.